Hey, so it's me, Vicky Marie, and I find myself yet again in this strange pit. I wanted to cover because I've been trying to think how to put all this the way that I'm thinking, and once again, this strange thing has happened where Katie Hopkins, I agree with nearly everything she says in this video that she's put out. There's all this thing with Hugh Edwards, and everybody's on there talking about mental health. All worrying about is he okay, and I am too. I don't want anything to happen to Hugh Edwards, but well, as she says, there are consequences to actions. If you do things, there are consequences. If you do things that are not quite right. Now, I'm not talking about people's normal private life, having an affair with somebody who's younger than them, going out with someone who's older than them, being gay, being whatever you are. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being the pinnacle of respectability as far in the public eye. And she expresses it so well here. I'm going to just go through this video and comment on it. I just hope she doesn't do me for copyright. I don't care really, because it was very, very good. Everything she said is what I've been thinking, because I do feel sorry for Hugh's family. I do feel sorry for him, but to blame now again someone's behaviour on mental health, where's this going to stop? Where's this going to stop? That case that I covered of the guy that set fire to the family, a mother and her two little children, tried to say it's because he has a personality disorder. Personally, I think it's insulting to the victims. It's insulting to people with mental health issues that face them every day, get on with life, get up in the morning, go to work because they've got a family to support, struggle through their mental health issues with no support, wait months for an appointment, even if they manage to get an appointment. And Hugh is very lucky that he's in a position that he could instantly be given help. His family, his wife, who, she's had to clear up his mess. Katie just puts it so well. I'm going to play it and comment on this video. And I'm a bit emotional today. I don't know why really, but I just think, where is this going to stop? And this comparison with Carolyn Flack, that's all they keep saying. Carolyn did nothing like what Philip Schofield did or what Hugh Edwards did. Carolyn Flack had an argument with a boyfriend and lost her shit once. Nobody was out there supporting her. Nobody was clearing up after her. It makes me so angry. This is nothing like Carolyn Flack. This is a man who has set himself up as a paragon of virtue, the seat of respectability for the nation for years. And now it turns out he's not such a paragon of virtue. Well, he's a human being. That's not even the issue. The issue is using men. So now it's all on us. Now, if I say this, I'm saying this now, and if tomorrow Hugh Edwards decides to do something to himself, be my fault, is it? Would it be my fault? He's got to take the consequences of his actions. He's got to face up to them one way or another. Anyway, let's listen to Katie. Now, I realise that not everybody feels like this. Might upset people. I just say to you now, if you really think that everybody should feel sorry for Hugh Edwards because he's got mental health issues, when I feel sorry for people who are getting up every morning and going to work to earn a pittance, to feed their family, to keep a roof over their heads, to function day in, day out, because they have no choice but to do it. Because if they didn't do it, there's nobody there to pick up the pieces. There's no massive salary to pay for private healthcare. You know, they're not getting help from their doctors. They're not getting help from, you know, I know people who've tried to get mental health care for their children, you know, teenage children or young children. They can't get it, or they're on a waiting list for 6 months. And in the meantime, they have to cope with it. And the parents have to cope with it. The family has to cope with it. Now, that's young people I'm talking about. But it'd be the same for older people. You know, what happens with them? Why is this? You know, anyway, let's listen to what. So I'm sorry, I don't want to offend everyone, but this is really how I feel. And when I just saw this video, I can't believe that I'm ending up agreeing with Katie. I think our politics are totally, you know, polarized, you know, but you can't agree with everything. I wouldn't agree with everything that she said, but I agree with this. Okay, let's listen.
From Rome to the headlines that Hugh Edwards' wife has put out a statement acknowledging that it's Hugh Edwards at the centre of the BBC scandal and talking of the mental health issues that he has. I wanted to say a few things that I can say because I don't want to work in mainstream media. I can't work there. And also,
I think that what she means is I can say because I don't care. And I think she goes on to say this. But I just want to say there, yeah, this thing about his wife coming out and saying this, although I just think, I hope she's okay. She must be a really strong woman to come out. She's going to end up clearing up. Apparently, she's the producer of she's a TV producer herself. So, did she know about all this? This is just like Philip Schofield's wife all over again, isn't it? Do these women know, or do they turn a blind eye, or is it for them that they just want to be married and have a family and everything to appear respectable? Or has she really, has that been like a slap in the face to her, and she's put, at the end of the day, she's the what, someone's got to clear up this shit, because she's got 5 children who you know, have got to be thought about. And if he's going to go off and, you know, lie down in a dark room, even though it was his actions that have brought this on, nobody else did this. He did it, and he needs to cope with it, not her. But anyway, if she's coping with it, good for her. But the more I think about it, that starts to make me angry.
I don't need to be liked. Number one, people saying hashtag poor Hugh or hashtag Caroline Flack or hashtag be kind in order to kind of make themselves the ambassador of what it is to be moral or to be kind, and to kind of self-inoculate, because look at them sympathizing with the poor guy. I call bull on that. Bullshit. You should not be using the name Caroline Flack. You should not be using the hashtag be kind. And I see through you. I see you trying to self-inoculate, and it's pathetic. Caroline Flack was nothing like Hugh Edwards or what he's done. And you can say, it's not illegal. It's not anyone else's business. Yes, but it's unethical. And perhaps if you're masquerading as Mr. Perfect Pants, you don't also get to be unethical.
Exactly. So it's not illegal, but what he's done, I don't know if I can make people understand. I know a lot of you do understand it, because a lot of you feel exactly the same way. But there'll be some of you that are watching this that probably won't agree with it. But it's not like if somebody who's putting out an image that they are practically commenting on other people, commenting on other situations, you know, setting themselves up to be some Mr. Perfect, or she called him Mr. Perfect Pants, I think, or whatever. And then in the background doing all these things. We don't care that they do those things. That's your private life if you want to do those things. But you're a married man with 5 children setting yourself up as a paragon of virtue on the BBC. And you know what? If I was gay, I would find it an insult. So to me now, what they're saying really is being gay is like a mental illness. That's what Mrs. Thatcher used to say. So now he's been suffering from mental illness. That's why he's been doing these gay things, because being gay is a mental illness, not a natural state. Is that what he's saying? I'm really mad.
The second thing that I wanted to say, and I should know this better than anyone else, shouldn't I? If you put yourself out there, expect all sorts of things to come your way. Good, plaudits, applause, and also bad. If you do something deeply unethical, expect people to come and give you a good kicking. It's happened to me often.
Exactly, I've said that. I always say that. You go on social media, you know, you do have to deal with trolls, obviously, and the more famous you get and the more money you earn. Look at what he's earning, £435,000 a year. Well, that's it. He's probably never been trolled, or hardly ever been trolled, because he's this Mr. Perfect. And now he has suffered. He's suffered this last week, or since, well, God, is it only Thursday? It feels like this has been going on forever. He's suffered since the news first came out on Saturday night, hasn't he? But because he hasn't dealt with it very well either, he didn't just come out and be open. The BBC didn't help by not telling him until a week ago. But at the end of the day, he's a very famous, well-paid BBC presenter. Very famous, very well-paid. He's going to get trolled. Now, when he was doing this behaviour, this mental illness behaviour of being gay, because being gay is a mental illness, obviously, not because he was just trying to cover it up because he didn't want his perfect image to be ruined. No, he had a mental illness. Being gay is a mental illness. That is such an insult to gay people. It's an insult to everyone, that, I think, to then say, oh, well, he's been suffering from mental illness. Same with, and then comparing it with Caroline Flack, please. Anyway, he's famous. He's very famous. He gets good money. So when these things come out, of course, people are going to be interested. If you want to be famous, people are going to be interested if you're, soliciting indecent photos from young people when you're 61 years old and you're soliciting indecent photos from 20-year-olds or younger. I mean, of course, if you don't know that, then how stupid are you? So all it is now is he's been caught out doing it. He's been doing it for years. It might not be illegal, but it's distasteful. It's not very nice. It doesn't fit in with his image. He wouldn't have been a BBC presenter earning £400,000 a year if he would have been like this, been open about how he really is. It's not mental illness. This is how he is. Sorry.
It still happens to me when I'm not doing anything unethical, and you just have to suck it up. That's how life works. If you put yourself out there for applause, it's not always going to be applause that you're going to get. It seems like whatever goes on with these guys in front of the cameras, when something goes wrong, it's mental health issues. Phil Schofield, mental health issues. Now, for him, Hugh Edwards, it's all the mental health issue, which means everybody has to pull back. No one better say anything, otherwise you'll have blood on your hands. Except, of course.
Yeah, so does that mean you can't say, I think that's terrible what he's done? Because he can't say that, because he might do something to himself, and then it'll be my fault, will it? Be my fault. I haven't done anything. I've just expressed an opinion. I think that's seedy what he's done. If you don't think it's seedy what he's done, well, good for you, but I do think it's seedy what he's done. And I don't care what he says about mental health. But, if somebody, a psychopath's got mental health issues, they go and murder 30 women, it's just mental health issues. Come on.
Of course, for people who struggle with mental health issues on a daily basis, wouldn't they love to have the immediate access to the sort of help or treatment that Hugh Edwards so rightly is now able to achieve? And also, why is this just brought up now, mental health issues, when this comes to the fore? I want to talk about a word called dignity. What happened to dignity? So, absolutely, live your life however. Do whatever you choose. Your private life is your private life. What you choose to do, who you choose to pay, what you choose to look at, what you choose, or what age person you get to suck any bit of you. It is absolutely none of anyone's business. But if you're masquerading as something else, a wife, 5 children, Mr. Respectable, lecturing on the state injectable, lecturing on fake news, lecturing on what is truth and what is not truth, and how you can distinguish from the truth. Here I am with my cufflinks and my cuffs. If you're masquerading as something you're not, expect to be challenged when it turns out the whole thing is a fraud. What happened to the dignity of being just honest?
Exactly. What happened to the dignity of just being honest, holding your hands up, admitting you know, I remember with the Profumo scandal and scandals of MPs, etc. Being caught out, oh, yes, I did this. I'm sorry. Not because it's mental health issues. I just fancied doing it. I wanted to do it. That's basically what it is. You know, did he get lured away by these young people? Oh my God, people actually blaming the young people themselves, blaming the family of the bloody drug addict who was desperate that her son was going to die, blaming them. Disgusting. Disgusting. He did it. He did it. Nobody made him do it. He's a person who has got choices. Sometimes people don't have choices. There's men and women turn to prostitution because they don't have choices of the way they're brought up or their financial problems or drug dependency, etc. That's not why he did it. He's got a privileged or had a privileged life. He's earning a lot of money. He's married. He's got 5 children. He's never had to worry about, well, probably maybe when he was younger, but certainly not for quite a long time, had to worry about paying a bill. You know, he's got £35,000 spare in 3 years to pay to someone for indecent photos. So I'm sorry, I'm not following this pity party, and I do pray for him as well every day. I pray for all of them. But I'll tell you what, if anything does happen to him, if he does something to himself, that is his choice. Nobody is making him do that. Like the things that he's done, they were his choice. It was his lifestyle choice. And if he was someone from a council estate doing these sort of things with no money or whatever, and no expensive lawyers and no wife clearing up after them, oh my God, they'd be all over the papers even more. So let's see. Sorry, I'm getting all
and accepting
alien.
that you may be liked, or in my case, you may be loathed for being brutally honest. And the thing I wanted to say most of all, and the real reason that I'm here ranting, is thank God for strong women like the wife of Phil Schofield, strong women like the wife of Hugh Edwards, not there for any of the praise, not there for any of the plaudits, not there getting the applause, not there getting the, oh, isn't Hugh magnificent? Oh, isn't Philip so nice? None of that. And yet still the ones who are right there, you know, picking up the pieces of the massive shit show that their husbands have delivered onto them, onto their children, and onto their families. So, on a very positive note, thank God for strong women, and full hats off to the wives who are picking up the pieces behind these men.
Yeah. Well, I agree with everything she says again, which is quite scary. And I just want to say one last thing to you to think about. I was trying to think of a similar sort of person, I suppose Holly Willoughby. If we thought about Holly Willoughby and suddenly, well, she's a bit young, let me think, it needs to be someone a bit older, doesn't it? So it needs to be someone like Victoria, Derbyshire, or Lorraine Kelly. Let's think of Lorraine Kelly or Susanna Reid, a similar sort of presenter, older. You know, I think Lorraine is just over 60s, and Susanna is in the 50s, I think. Suddenly, it turns out, now bearing in mind, thinking you've got to imagine the scene that is the same as this scene. They're married, they've got 5 children, they're still married, not separated or anything like that, married. And then it turns out that one or both of these ladies, well, let's take both Philip Schofield and Hugh Edwards as an example. So let's say that Lorraine is like Phil Schofield. It turns out she took on a young guy that she met when, well, we still don't really know the truth of how old this boy was when Philip Schofield met him, groomed him, then gave him a job at the BBC. Sorry, not the BBC, would it be at ITV, made him the runner for her, you know, and that all came out in the open. But there was the thing with Philip Schofield, there was a suspicion of grooming. Not that he had an affair with a young lad even. It was the suspicion of grooming, that boy was under 16. So let's imagine that was Lorraine. Do you think her husband would be there to pick up the pieces? And let's take a note. I mean, I don't know if Susanna Reid is married or whatever. Let's imagine she is. I know she's got teenage children or young children, not young, youths, children that are youths, let's say. And she does what turns out she's been doing what Hugh Edwards is. Bearing in mind, thinking that she's still married. So she's been soliciting photos, indecent photos of girls, because it would be a same-sex thing. And half-naked photos, paying $35,000 to 17-year-old girls to send her explicit photos over Instagram or wherever. Let's imagine that. Imagine that scene. Do you think her husband, do you think everyone would be so supportive, and her husband would be saying, oh, well, Susanna's been suffering from mental health issues? Absolute load of rubbish. Sorry. Mental health issues. I'm not saying he hasn't got any mental health issues, but he didn't have mental health issues when he was dodging lockdown and going out to visit these young people, or, you know, sending abusive texts. And now it seems that he's been sending texts to colleagues as well. You know, he's a sex pest. You know, that maybe that is a mental illness. I don't know, but I hope he's okay. I honestly do. I honestly hope he's okay. But I cannot have this holier than thou. I'm saying it's like Carolyn Flack. It's nothing like Carolyn Flack. Neither Philip Schofield nor Hugh Edwards. Carolyn Flack did not do this kind of thing. Yeah, she went out with Harry Styles when he was 17. She went out with him. She wasn't soliciting half-naked photos of him and, you know, several other young people. It's nothing like it. Anyway, I think my dog's going to start barking because something seems to happen. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't, but that's how I feel. And my prayers, they do go out to his wife, his family, especially if this has been a shock to her, whether she knew before, I don't know. It's the last thing I'm going to say on it, because, yeah, they do need that until he's ready to come out and say something himself and be a man, you know, not only be a man, just be honest. Honesty. I cannot stand this sort of blaming, this what is it, like victim blaming and everything. Oh, it's because of mental health issues. God, there's heroes out there every day, millions all over the world. In fact, it explodes my head. I think that's why I feel a bit emotional. There's people there as we speak all over the world getting up and dealing with mental health issues in the most difficult circumstances that you can imagine, and they're having to do it because they're the only person that can you know, keep that family together or keep things going. There's people doing it, facing it in war zones after the earthquake in Turkey and Syria, etc. You know, wars in Syria, wars going on all over the place. People with no money, they you know, I just think, you know, sometimes I just get a bit emotional about what people are having to face every day, and then suddenly some sort of very privileged person, really, who's behaved badly, just blames everything on mental health issues. Now, I might not be on for a couple of days now. I'm going to take a little break, I think, because I am. So, but I will see you very soon, and don't know why I'm so emotional about this, but anyway, so please remember to live and love very carefully always. Look after yourself, because you are the most important thing, because if you don't look after you, you can't look after anybody else. And I will see you very soon in the next video. It won't be that long. I just don't know if I'll do a Friday live tomorrow, maybe not, but I expect by Sunday I'll be back. So take care, and until I see you again, may your God go with you. Thank you.